Rapid Fire Golf episode 20. What's up, guys? Welcome, episode 20, Rapid Fire Golf. Monday at 5, another episode, 20th one. Same old. Hope everyone is doing well. When you guys have any questions, fingers crossed our internet connection is better throughout. We're working through some logistics for that. Some of the past ones we had a little some issues halfway, but hopefully we get through this one okay. As per normal, if you guys have any questions, you can fire whenever ready, and then I will rapid fire answer our way through that. So whenever you guys have some questions, start shooting them in, and we shall rock and roll. Okay, David, not messing around. I like it. Right to it. What is the best way to keep your hands soft during the swing? So we did a video called it was called Two Non-Negotiables of Grip Pressure. I believe that's what it's called. Two Non-Negotiables of Grip Pressure, David, if you watch that one, where kind of the moral of the story of that video was like, hey, I don't think there's any one grip pressure that's correct, meaning soft or firm. I think different people work different ways. I've heard really good players say they're barely holding on to it. I've heard really good players say they're squeezing the heck out of it. The one goal would be whatever your grip pressure is, your arms are soft. It's harder to have soft arms when you're gripping it tight, but it's still possible. You can still have softer arms with a tighter grip, or you can have soft. The kind of key point would be to maintain the pressure throughout. Don't start soft and go really hard. Don't start really hard and go soft. You kind of want to be the same throughout. The best way to keep your hands soft, I think, would just be putting attention on it, right? So like when you take your grip, you should be able to waggle the club. You should be able to hinge and waggle when you go without much of a problem. If you feel resistance when you're trying to waggle, if that's not relatively easy, I'd say that might be a little too firm. But yeah, no real tricks to that. I've heard some other people say like, you know, put a piece of paper around the club and grip it and don't like wrinkle the paper and some other tricks like that. But I would just say just be conscious of it, man. I don't think there's anything special for that. And see if it works. Like soft grip pressure isn't necessarily better than firm. All depends. Jack, what's up, man? Thanks for the videos. You are very welcome. Any drills to help stop pulling down on the handle in the downswing? Thanks. Yeah, I think grip pressure, to David's point just there before, is a portion of it. I think a conscious thought of not pulling down the hands, meaning if you kind of look at it as a race between the arms and hands and the body, if the arms and hands are pulling down too fast, that also would mean that's just relative to the body, meaning the opposite of that would be let your body start working before your arms and hands work down. How would you do that? Get your body started earlier. Feel like your arms and hands are doing nothing. That would be another option. Obviously, those sort of things, softer hands. Feel like you leave your arms and hands up. If you watch any of George Gangus's stuff, got a lot of different drills for that with the stick on the arms or things along those lines. And then just listen, is pulling down the handle even hurting you? Like, what does that lead to? If you're getting too steep in transition, maybe that's a problem. You can supplement with some other drills. But it also depends on why that's happening. Not always is it just that you're pulling on it for no reason. Sometimes you did something earlier to create that. So I kind of want to check that as well. Josh, how can I get more distance on my sand wedge? I normally hit my 56 around 115, but lately I'm hitting it 90 to 105. Yeah, so 115 is plenty of distance. I only hit my 56 110, so that's enough. Now, if you were hitting at 115, but now you're only 90 to 105, that sounds like a dynamic loft problem. So contact or dynamic loft, meaning the variables that control how far you hit it: club head speed, dynamic loft, centerness of contact, ball speed, spin. But really it's just like club head speed, dynamic loft, centerness of contact. So you're probably not swinging the club so much slower in terms of miles per hour that would bring that down. If you're losing 20 or 10 to 25 yards, that's probably dynamic loft. Now you have to figure out why that's happening to be able to fix that. If I could see your swing, I could kind of tell you what's happening, why that's changing. But either your contact or dynamic loft are off, you have to figure out why. How do I stop early extension in my golf swing? I'm glad you asked because, like big, huge announcement thing in the background, delayed. We are launching our early extension masterclass next Monday, June 17th. It is, I think, the best masterclass we put together. I've struggled with early extension for like a decade, most of it because I just didn't know what to do or how to fix it. No one told me. I didn't know. And so it's something that's kind of near and dear to my golf heart because I've struggled with it. So I would put a lot of time and energy into being able to fix early extension. So we put a product together. It's launching next Monday. It's 22 videos. It's well over an hour and a half. I think it's closer to 2 hours, but it's over an hour and a half of content. And there's a 30-day practice plan that kind of guides you through step by step. Do this first, do this second, do this third. Do it for this amount of reps, do it for this amount of days. I think it's the best one we've ever done. We'll probably use it as a format for the rest of them. We are going to do an introductory price point for 1 week. So on Monday, it's going to launch. There's going to be a YouTube video on early extension on Monday. And then there's going to be another one on Tuesday. And then Wednesday. I lost my days of the week there. And then Thursday and Friday. So next week, you're going to see a blitz of early extension videos from the product. That's 5 of them. There's 22 total. It's freaking awesome. So if you have early extension, we're going to do an introductory price point. We will do some form of special next Monday for this live if you're on here. We were doing 50%. I don't know if we'll discount it that much. Maybe we will. But there'll be some form of discount if you're here next Monday for the extension. But I would get it even just to watch it. I think that they're really, really good. So one, I'd look next Monday for that early extension to come out. But how do you start early extension in the golf swing? And my hips push forward, end up tipping the ball. Can you help? Yeah, so I definitely can help. As you'll see in that masterclass, it really depends on why you're early extending. We did 22 videos in that masterclass because there's a lot that could potentially happen. So I can't say for you, I don't know what your name is, but I can't say for you, here's how to fix your extension. It could be something in your feet that could be off. It could be your legs extending. It could just be your pelvis. There could be pressure. There could be so many different reasons why you early extend. Now, I would kind of guide you through that in the masterclass. So I would just hold your question off, wait for the videos next week, and then check out the masterclass. And there's a ton of different, I kind of guide you through every single possible scenario there. So I think that that'll help there. And you can search we have a bunch of early extension videos already on here. You could search. Okay, not so rapid fire answer. Matt, what's up, man? Congrats on the 1 million views. Thank you, Mary. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you. Why does an indoor simulator show my nice draw, but when outside I hit a fade? Golf Channel says, hi, tune in every Monday for, yeah, okay, hello, hello, hello. Yeah, so I don't know, Matt. I don't know why on there you get the draw spin, on the outside you get the fade. There'd be a couple of things you have to look at. One is the simulator incorrect? So does it read the spin axis different? Is it measuring the contact with the ball? Are you hitting it off center outside and there's gear effect it's not seeing? That's one thing. Is the simulator correct? Let's assume that it's correct and you're getting a different ball flight inside versus outside. Then you have to just look at the variables. Your environment changes. There's a target. There's a consequence. There's different lies. There's different pre-shot routines. You're not hitting the same club over and over again. So I would be a little surprised if your ball flight pattern went from one thing to another with just an environment change of inside to outside. I would expect to see the same things. I would see maybe a distance difference in the two. So yeah, Matt, I don't know that I can help a lot with that. I'm not sure on that one. David, what do you think about a slight forward press as a trigger to start a swing? I like it. For the purpose of presetting the left wrist and as a right-hand golfer and holding that, I like it, but I don't know, like listen, if it works, that's cool. If you preset your hands forward into a flex position, the risk of that is if I took that here and I kept it, a lot of guys go too inside too early during the takeaway. Now, that's not a problem if you're inside early with a good face and you're still good and you're still good and you're still good. So theoretically could be fine, but it doesn't guarantee anything. If the end goal is, hey, if I push my hands forward and set my wrist and just maintain it, that doesn't guarantee anything. Now, having said that, if you do that and it works for you, there's no reason to not do it. So you have to just test that and see if it works. It could definitely work fine. David, best drill for getting the left side with the leg and foot pressure to start the downswing. I would search the videos on here. The secret to how the hip rotation, how the hips work in the golf swing, how the left leg works in the golf swing. Search my name and hips and the left leg, and you'll see a lot more in terms of that. What I would say the general idea is in terms of getting to the left side with your left leg is just kind of a pressure shift of your whole body moving forward. We did a video that's going to come out, I think, on this Wednesday or Friday on where the head is in space, keeping the head behind the ball, Wednesday. And so that'll kind of go through this more, but from here, let's assume you have a normal backswing. You're looking for things to kind of float a little left. So your left knee should work out. Your pressure should work in your left heel. Your hip should move down and forward. Your left shoulder should move down and forward. Your rib cage should move down and forward. Your head should move down and forward. Then you're centering out as you're rotating. How much you move forward or back out of it depends on the club you're using and some other things. But I'd say you're looking for a little float forward. What you should do, David, to do that, or why you don't do that, it might depend on some other variables I have to see. Let's see, David, I have problems with wrist set consistency. Yeah, so again, David, if you do it at address and you, different David, and you do it at address and you can maintain it, that's cool, doesn't guarantee anything. I would need to see your swing, but you'd be looking at things like, when you say wrist set, are you talking hinge amounts or flexion extension? If you have flexion extension issues, you can do things like the hanger drill. You can do things like the Tour Striker, wrist educator. You can do the actual hanger when Watson Golf on there would be good for that. Any of those would be fine. If you're talking hinge race you have a problem with, you can do the swing guide, that little yellow training aid. There's different things to do. I have to see your swing to say why that is. For all you guys that haven't heard me say it a million times, when I say I need to see your swing, I do mean that, A. And B, where you can do it is at CogornoGolf.com. We created that so that when I say that to you, you actually have a place to go do it. So I don't know if we have any members of CogornoGolf.com here. If you are here, if you could put a comment on there and kind of say hello, and thanks for being here. I think I said last time I'd love to have some of you guys on here to kind of tell everyone what you think of it. But anyway, we have a Facebook group for premium members. You can put your swing on. I guide you. We have our community. It's freaking awesome. So I can see your swing there and help you guys. Okay, another Dave. Lots of Daves. Lots of Daves. One of your recent videos discussed how good players lower in the backswing. Can you highlight the key movements to make that happen? Yeah. So when you're talking about lowering to the ground on the way down or through, there's a couple body motions that are involved. One of them is the knees or the legs. If I stood normal here and I just bent my legs, does my head go down or go up? Goes down, of course, right? So any amount of legs increasing bend would make me go down. During the backswing, that's my left leg. So if I'm standing here normal during my backswing, I increase the bend in my left leg. Okay, that makes me go down. When I increase the bend in my left leg and straighten my trail leg a little, my hips also tilt, meaning the left side of my hips is lower. Left side of my hip is lower than the right side of my hip. So that's part of it. Also, when you're talking about lowering, there's side bends. If I stood normal, I'm tall. If I bend to the left, my head goes down. If I bend to the right, my head goes down. So during the backswing, there's also left side bend. So not only am I bending my left leg, my left hip's going down, I'm also getting my left shoulder working down to the top. Those are really the primary things that lower you when you go down. Also, there's forward flexion and there's extension, which makes you go up or down. But left side bend and bending the left knee would be the primary pieces that make you go down during the backswing. Let's see. Okay, I think another David Palmer in there. I skipped your question. Sorry, help. I keep coming over the top. Tip. Yeah, I have a great tip, and the title of it's called The Best Drill I've Ever Seen. Search my name and the best drill I've ever seen. Guaranteed that fixes you over the top if, number one, you fix your face first. Number two, you set the station up correctly. Number three, you do it consistently over time. If you did that drill, the 10-4, the 2 sticks in, and watch how to use your arms and hands. We did that video back to back for a purpose. David Palmer, watch how to use your arms and hands. You have to make sure your club face is square to closed, because if your club face is open, you're going to come over the top all the time, forever. You're not going to fix it. You have to fix your club face first, fix your path second. That's number one. Number two, you watch that 10-4 drill, set it up correctly, and do it 3 times a week for the next month. You're not over the top at all. That guaranteed fixes it. Just have to do it right and do it for long enough. Martin, what's up, man? What's your best tip in terms of keeping the club face square as long as possible during impact? I wouldn't do that. I think that's a fool's gold thing. The idea that your club face would stay square. I mean, obviously, Martin, I think what you're talking about, your club face would stay square relative to the arc you're swinging on, right? So you're swinging it up and in during the backswing, down and out, back up and in. It's not like what's a croquet? You play back and forth, is that right? It's not like a sport where you go back and forth and just stays square the whole time. It's arcing, which means it should be opening and closing relative to the golf ball. And it's also opening and closing relative to the arc. If you look at like athletic motion golf or any of those guys that have gears, you can measure to a degree that club face, it's not even just staying square to the arc both ways. It's opening and closing to the target and opening and closing to the arc. So I don't think trying to keep it super square is the best idea. I think at speed, high speed, it's okay to have it arcing as you go. You just want to keep it square to the path. That's the kind of key, keep it square to the path. How would you do that? Would be having a good grip, having a good club face alignment on the way back, having good rotation and tilts on the way through. Meaning if you need several prerequisites, not like one drill to fix all that. Fantastic. So on Monday, It's my worst habit. Yeah, dude, if you have early extension and you've struggled with it for a long time and you watch those videos, you will have everything you need to fix it. Now, you still have to practice. Okay, you can't watch the videos and sit down in a chair, drink a Coke, and your early extension's gone. You got to go out and do the 30-day plan. But I mean, I laid it out as simple as humanly possible. So that I would 100% get that. Ron, tips for getting pre-shot external for the same feeling or consistency, no swing thoughts. Yeah, so I did a little video on this morning for our members at CogornoGolf.com, the Facebook group. Maybe we'll do a more formal video over time, but the 2 keys in your pre-shot routine are when you're playing. I would say one category would be learning how to breathe or focus on breathing or having a central thought. The other one is learning how to get present. The central thought thing is just that when you go play, it's impossible to eliminate thoughts. So when someone says to you, hey, don't be nervous, don't think about hitting it to the right. Like, that's stupid. You can't not be nervous. You can't not think. You're going to think about shit. It's going to come up. The goal is when you think about that, go right back to a central thought. That's that transcendental meditation that works good. You have a mantra. I just like breathing. So if I'm thinking about something stupid, like hitting it into the water, that's okay. I'm not mad at myself for it, but let me come back to my breathing. What I like to do is in 4 through my nose, out 4 through my mouth. And none of that I made up. It's all coming from other people. So I would just do like a breathing search online, in 4 through my nose, out 4 through my mouth. I played with just that for a while. Okay, just that once. That's one thing. Getting present in golf or not is all about being aware of your senses. So you have vision, your sight, you have hearing, right, auditory, you have smelling, and then you have your feel. So those kind of big 4 ones, right? So how do you get present? You get aware of all those feels. You look around. Like right now, I can look around and notice minor details of things. I see Mary's top that she has on. I see the chair she's sitting on. I see her lipstick on her coffee cup that's always there. I see the color of the window. I see rain out the door. When you're outside, maybe you see like a leaf on a tree blowing, or you see the cloud in the sky moving. That's awareness of that. When I used to play really good in a tournament, I used to keep my head down because I was focused, and I'd see specks like blades of grass. And I was so in the zone, it was like stupid back then. I didn't know at the time what I was doing, but I was getting present. You would hear things, listen to the sounds, listen to the birds chirping, the wind blowing, a cart driving by, whatever. Not trying to hear it, just listen what's going on. And then I would smell things. Smell what the grass smells like, smell the stuff on the grass, whatever, out on the course. And then you'd feel things. Like right now, you're sitting, probably watching, and you have a shirt on you that you could feel right now on your chest. You could feel it touching your skin. Now, a minute ago or a second ago, you didn't feel it touching your skin. Why? Just because you weren't aware of it. It's creating an awareness. I feel my feet on the floor. I feel my hat on the head. I feel the club on my body. You might feel your hand on a laptop, whatever, wherever you're at. You didn't, literally a second ago, didn't feel it, but it was there. You just weren't aware of it because your brain put it in the back. You want to bring those senses forward, get as present as possible. That's how you do that. I don't know how to make that any shorter than that, so it's a long answer, but that's the way you do that. And I think it's super important how you get good at it. Like I do it every day. I do it as part of my meditation every day for like 15 minutes. So it's easy for me to take on the course. You have to just do that and do that and do that. Maybe at the end of your range sessions, if you follow the perfect practice routine, you're supposed to hit 10 to 20, 25 balls where you're randomizing targets and doing routines. Do it in that so you can start to practice. Do you have any or a favorite training aid for stopping rolling the hands to the inside of the takeaway? Love your instruction. Yes, so many of them. If you search, go on YouTube, search my name and takeaway, and you'll see a slew of them on there. They will help just to pick which ones for you. What you need to do in particular depends on what you're currently doing. So I'd have to see to say for sure, but we have a ton of takeaway videos on here. Roger, bunkers. I'm having trouble judging the surface, meaning soft sand, mid, and hard. Ball flies when I take the wrong approach. Yeah, that's hard for me to kind of help online, like help you judge the surface better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'd have to guide you through that in person. I don't have any ton of tips or tricks. I can tell you kind of how to approach each surface. If the sand is firmer, you know, you don't use as much bounce, you get a little closer to the ball. If it's softer, maybe use a little more bounce, hit a little bit more behind it, take a little more sand. So it's a little bit different. I think we have a little bit of bunker. We did one YouTube bunker video. We have some bunker. Yeah, on the membership site, we have a bunker series, but it's not like tremendously in depth, but it goes over some of it. But how you judge the surface, I don't know that I can give you any tips on that like right now. I think I have to kind of guide you through that. So yeah, sorry, man. I don't know if I can do that. Extend early. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Watch the early extension masterclass, dude. I'm telling you. William, loving the coat hanger drill. Beautiful. Last shot on an 18 today, solid 4 and in a 2-club win, just the best. That's a beautiful thing, man. When you learn to get the club face square, have your wrist conditions good, and have good dynamic loft, the odds of solidness of contact increase tremendously. Jason, should right foot be flat at impact, rolling inward, or heel off the ground? No stock answer to that. There's different players that do different things. Some guys keep it down longer. Some go up more. There's too many variables for me to say you should do that or shouldn't do it, or why someone doesn't or not. Part of it, a lot of players you'll see, has to do with whether they have depth of their lead arm at the top or not, and their heel comes up during the downswing as a byproduct of getting their pelvis forward to help get the arms back down. Like, meaning guys that are more vertical with their arms, usually their heels will come more up. Guys that are a little bit deeper don't need to have the heel to come up because it's deep already. They need to get it back in front of them. So literally if it's deep and you got to go in front of you and my heel comes up, I don't have space. If I'm vertical and my heel comes up, it's no big deal, I have space. So there's other variables involved with that, but I haven't met too many people who I'm like, hey, you bank your right foot too well. Some people keep their foot down too long and it holds back their rotation. So I really have to see you do it, man, I think, to say whether you should do it or not. You missed my question about the grip. Sorry about that. I didn't see it in there. If you want to repost it, I will get to it. Frederick, I think I have too flat of a shoulder turn. Can you talk about proper shoulder plane angle turn? Yeah, absolutely. What I would do, I think, is just search my name and shoulder tilt. Yeah, I think shoulder tilt. We did like 2 or 3 videos, staying centered during the swing and shoulder tilt, where I went through in more detail I can give you right now how much to tilt. So if you watch that video, search my name and shoulder tilt, it'll answer your question specifically, and how to stay centered. And sometimes, guys, I'm going to do this too in terms of rapid fire. We're like, that's a great question, Frederick. Like, I'd love to talk about that. We could literally talk for 20 minutes about that one thing. But if I know I did a video that lays it out beautifully, I'd rather just recommend that and you can go watch it. You know what I mean? Charles, I think I swing too hard, go over the top. Good drill to stop. Well, swinging over the top can be fixed by watching that best drill I've ever seen, the 10-4 station. Like I said before, that will change your swing. If any of you guys are too far over the top, you need to do that drill. You need to get your club face square first. You need to get inside out, get overly inside out, get overly shallow, hit some pushes, hooks. Who cares? You can ride that to shooting in the 70s. I would do that drill all day. Now, if you're swinging too hard, I would start by swinging less hard. How you do that could be different ways. I think you could think of a count. I would say, hey, take your full swing 9-iron. Let's say my full swing 9-iron goes 150. Make a full swing and have it only go 100 yards. Take 50. Let's say you hit your 8-iron 150. Make a full swing and make it only carry 100 yards. And if you normally carry 150, I bet when you try and do that, it'll go like 135, 140. That's probably a starting point of where I'd start. Feel like super duper slow and work from there. My short game, I often putt with an 8-iron. Love that, to have a chip and run, but I can't get consistency. Sometimes I totally overpower it and it goes way past the flag. Tips for control. Yeah, I would say first would be, how often do you practice that in terms of total hours per week? Answer that, and then we'll go from there. Blanche, Eric, congratulations on your social media milestone. Mary and I say thank you. How many repetitions would you recommend, 50 to 100, to ingrain new feelings? Blanche, are you saying, I don't think that's actually Blanche, it's Larry, yeah, from San Diego. Is that right? How many repetitions would you recommend, 50 to 100? Yeah, I always say like 30 to 50 during practice session. It's really about frequency rather than duration. Like if you were learning to drive, you would, let's say a month was going to go by. And in that month, you could drive every day for 20 minutes, or once a week for 2 hours, but only once a week. That person who drove every single day for 20 minutes would be a better driver than the person who drove once a week for 2 hours. It's about the frequency, the way your brain creates new pathways for learning a new skill. A motor pattern is by frequency, not necessarily duration. Frequency and duration work, but frequency, meaning 30 to 50 reps a couple days a week, I think is fine. How long it takes you to do it depends on other variables. How long have you been doing the other way? How fast people learn stuff, what swing mechanic it is. There's a lot of other factors in there, but I'd like to say 30 to 50 a day. You should be able to get a new feeling, make it look good in that session. Like if I'm going to practice a swing, I think I could myself or get someone to make it look good on camera in that hour, maybe 5 minutes. Now, own it on the course with minimal thought could be like 6 months. So it could take a while. Joey D, any thoughts on Plane Mate by the Tour Striker? Ordered a while back, waiting on shipment. No, I haven't used it. I will say I really like Martin Chuck. I really like Tour Striker. So does Mary. I really like their product, so I would bet it's probably pretty good. But I have never used it, so I can't say. Robin, How important is wrist hinge during the takeaway? I would say it is important. It's important to match it up. Now, in terms of where you should be, obviously we've done takeaway videos, Robin. If you go watch them, it'll kind of clear it up. But basically the idea is by the time the club gets to parallel to the ground, I want it to be about even with the hands. Parallel to the ground, probably just outside the butt of the club on or just outside of your trail thigh. The club head should be even with your hands, meaning that's how much hinge it has. By the time you get to left arm parallel, even with the right pec, right bicep, probably just outside of 90. So here's 90, probably just greater than that would be stock, and then maybe close to 90 at the top. Would be a stock model, but I could show you players who are good other ways. But it's important. If you don't have enough hinge during your takeaway, usually it's too far inside. If you have too much hinge during your takeaway, it would make you go outside. Or, said differently, more hinge during your takeaway will make the club go higher and more outside. Less hinge during your takeaway would make the club go lower and more inside. Jared Johnson from CogornoGolf.com Facebook group. Thank you, sir. We have someone here. We have Gabe, I think, right? That's a Gabe project. Beautiful. We got 2 for 2. Thank you, gentlemen. What's going on?
And Jared has a very nice comment, lower.
Jared lower. Okay, good, good, good. Jared and Gabe, welcome, gentlemen. Mark, awesome. Pat, please show me where the hands are at, thank you, Mark. Please show me where the hands are at setup with the driver and where your hands are when you hit the ball. So I would say as a stock model, you would want to put your hands on the inside of your lead thigh for all clubs. Here's your lead thigh, right here. Here's my hands. So I'd say right in line with lead thigh. Here's behind lead thigh. Here's right thigh. Here's ahead of thigh. Here's inside lead thigh. Now, I would just keep it there for all your clubs and move your ball position in feet width. So if I had like an iron, say a short iron, my ball's here, hands are here, it looks like I have more shaft length. Now the driver, my hands stay there, the ball's more forward. I didn't change where my hands are relative to my body, but the ball's forward so that I don't have as much shaft length. Where your hand should be at address depend on your club face alignment, your grip, your rotation, and your tilts. With an iron, you'd want your hands slightly forward at address of where they started. I'd say you want your hands to start on the inside of your left thigh here, and then at impact, they're more in the middle part of your left thigh. Inside thigh, middle thigh. So they do travel forward. A lot of that forward is through shift. So you've shifted towards the target and you've rotated, which put your hands more forward. And there's some abduction, adduction in there as well. But so start inside left thigh, have them more forward. With the driver, how far forward you have them depends on your speed. The lower your speed, the less forward your hands can be because you need enough dynamic loft and spin to get the ball up in the air to travel far enough. If you're Dustin Johnson, you can have your hands more forward and less loft because you have so much speed it doesn't even matter. You can have the hands more forward, potentially for face control. That's an ongoing debate. But hopefully that helps. Pat. Kirk. In the process of learning to shallow my swing with proper wrist positions and rotation of body, that sounds like a beautiful plan. Developed a severe shank and yips. That's not a beautiful plan. With my lob, gap, sand wedges from 100 yards, help. Kirk, good news, bad news. Good news, I can definitely help you. Bad news, I definitely have to see your swing because I have no idea why that would be happening. Back to the good news, I can help you with your swing. Even more good news, CogornoGolf.com. Even more good news, it's only $39 a month. Even more good news, Jared and Gabe are both here. They can tell you how good it is. You can post your swings. I can help you fix that probably pretty darn quickly, but I'd have to see your swing. Brad Herrick, struggling out of the bunker. Misses rocket low over the green and curve left to right. Club sometimes bouncing the ball. Any advice? Again, I might have to see you do it. We have, I think, a bunker video, which is a foolproof bunker something rather on here. If you search my name in bunker, and that'll kind of show you the general things I'd say in terms of setup, ball position, feet width, shoulder tilt, etc. So, I mean, I like to see the feet a little wider out of the bunker. I like to see the lead hip and lead shoulder lower. Face is plenty open, shafts more neutral. Shoulders are a little down. That's a little high for me right there. And then lots of open club face during the backswing, pretty much right on plane. And then I like a little more of a release down the line. I don't like a cut across swing direction. I like the aim to be just slightly open or square, not way open and not as far cut across. Yeah, I need to see what you do there. I mean, low point, it could be a setup thing, could be ball position, could be face not open, could be wrist conditions, could be club face. Yeah, I have to see that one, Brad. Martin, thanks. You're welcome. Mark, I like to keep a constant hum throughout the whole swing. That works. I like that too in terms of swing speed. Harvey, Through what position should one maintain interior pelvic tilt in the downswing? I'm combating tilting and early right side bend firing. Yeah, it depends a little bit about what you have at address position, and during the downswing, I would say having it tilt. So some people that anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. So let's say the kind of like your butt out, right? For people who don't know what those terms mean, if I'm here like this, I'd like the lower back to be relatively flat at address. When I go back into the backswing up to the top, creating some of the butt back or a little bit of an angle here in your lower back would help in terms of forward bend, right side bend, and rotation. The more the pelvis kicks inward like this, or belt buckle forward, hurts in terms of the right side bend rotation piece. So here I'd say have it tilted more back, like have a little bit of angle here, into about last parallel, club last parallel, between lead arm parallel and last parallel. And then from there, you're getting rid of that, going back into neutral, and then kicking into full extension with your pelvis forward in the follow through. So I'd say neutral at address, a little bit neutral or a little bit at the top. You're going to probably throw some in at the top. Definitely having some in transition, like more here, not like this. And then keeping that into about last parallel, club last parallel, and then kicking that out into the, from last parallel into the follow. That's a little bit more of a specific question that some people might have lost that, but yeah, that's that. Let's see, how do I get an even tempo on my downswing? Basically, I overthink the shot. I have very slow takeaway, and then I rush the downswing very fast. Shot. Yeah, you know, stock things. I mean, just swing, don't swing as fast. You know, swing slower. How do you swing slower or get better tempo? You can do a count. You can do the thing I said where you take a full swing with a club that normally goes 150, make it only go 100. You can think slower and then record yourself and watch how fast it goes. And then, like, literally, you're gonna probably record and be like, "Oh my God, that felt so slow. It still went fast." Okay, good. Press play again. Go even slower. Swing slow, so slow. To the point where you watch it on video and you're like, wow, that was actually slow. Good, use that as your baseline. I would say would be a good thing. And like, you know, the breathing, the getting present, stuff like that will help too. Harvey, can you have your shoulders too open at impact? You can have your shoulders too open during the entire downswing. Depends on other factors though. It depends on how deep your lead arm was during your backswing primarily. So like when I come back like this, if I get my arm really deep here like this and I have a full 90-degree shoulder turn, then I can rip it open pretty quick. Like kind of the stock thing is that your shoulders turn back 90 or more, and then at left arm parallel, there's still, whoever this is, Harvey definitely knows some golf swing stuff because we're getting detailed. The shoulders are 90, and then at left arm parallel, they should still be 45 closed. So 90, 45. So from the top to left arm parallel, they've rotated open like 45 degrees, but they're still 45 degrees closed. The deeper your lead arm is, the more you can open up. If your lead arm's more vertical like this, or if you didn't turn back 90 and you open up right away, like sometimes I do from here, then your arm and shaft are too far out in front, and then you have to tilt to shallow out the angle of attack. So can you open your shoulders too much? Yes, you can. For sure can. It all depends on how far back did you go. I would say the two variables are how far back did you turn them. The more you turn them back, the more you can rip them open. The less you turn them back, the less you can rip them open. And lead arm depth. The deeper your lead arm is, the more you can rip them open. The more vertical your lead arm is, the less you can rip them open. Boom. That was a good answer. Thanks, Eric. Dustin, what's a good reference point for the trail arm coming down into the side in front of the body? Rory talks about getting his trail arm in his right pocket. I would say I would use your seam line right here in your shirt as a reference point, regardless of whether your arm's external this way or internal this way. You don't want your elbow to get behind your seam line on the way back or on the way down. And then there's also abduction, adduction, how your arm works away from your body. So does your arm go this way, this way? When you're going back like this, you want to keep your right arm in front of your seam line so it doesn't get behind your seam line. And in terms of distance away from your body, that arm's going to be getting closer to your body this way during the downswing. What you need to feel depends on where you're coming from. Any advice on how to start for someone back? So like meaning, Dustin, if you went up to the top, for me to answer that for you depends on where your arm is at the top. Are you in external rotation or internal rotation? Where are your wrist conditions at? Where's the shaft at? What's the face look like? What kind of body tilts do you have? What's your rotation like? And then in transition, for me to say your arm should be here, 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 depends on other variables. I'd say as a stock model, your right arm kind of on your side, just in front of your seam line is good. Dustin Johnson would be more here, externally rotated with a really strong face. Guys who have open faces will be more here because they're trying to square the face. Stronger face will be more here, open face will be more here as a reaction to the club face. Any advice on how to start for someone back to golf after 20 years? Yeah, I would start simple. I would find one or two things in terms of swing to focus on. That best draw I've ever seen video, I would start with that. Learn how to get my club face square, or how to use your arms and hands. I'd get the club face square, hit it left. I'd throw that station in, learn how to draw, and then I'd learn how to pivot. If something happened and I magically forgot how to golf and I had to restart tomorrow, that's exactly how I would do it. I'd get my grip, wrist conditions, club face under control, hit it left, 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 left. Then I'd do that station, do that swing station, boom, 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 draw, 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 push hook, push hook, push hook, push hook. I'd learn how to shoot really good scores from there. Then I'd learn body rotation and pivot to kind of bring things in. I do it in that order, probably for everyone. That's how I've always done it. It's probably how I always will do it. That's how I would do it. And when you go play short tees. Like learn how to score from the reds in the front of the fairways and shit and have fun. Don't go back, and make it harder than it needs to be. Yeah, move up, baby, move up. How do you stop the chipping shanks? You have to figure out why you're doing the shanks and eliminate those reasons. It depends on why you're getting them, and there's too many variables that could cause it. It could be distance away from the ball, balancing your feet, club face alignment, swing plane too far inside, not enough rotation, wrist conditions. So I'd have to see why you're doing it to say how to fix it. That's not like, if you said to me, hey, I'm over the top, how do I fix it? I'd say fix your club face, do that practice station. For shanks, it depends on why it's happening. We did one video on full swing shanks, kind of quick fix it. I give you some general tips, but it depends on why you're doing it. How do you get the left leg pullback in downswing like Snead, Young, Tiger, and a lot of other hitters? So pressure towards the heel and extend the leg. Pressure towards the heel, extend the leg. Now, some guys, I know some speed guys that I know that train actually teach that you're left to pull the left foot back. If I go back here like this, meaning like from here, I actually have the left foot pull back here like this. Now, those guys that did it in their swing would do it through pressure towards the heel. The foot kind of floats off the ground, pressure towards the heel, and then you extend your left leg. Yeah, that's how you do it, right? That's how you do it. Pull it back, extend it, pressure towards your heel. Do you have any tips for stretching out the trap? Currently dealing with some shoulder. I don't. No, sorry. I'm sure if you go online here and search the old YouTube, you find some. So that's probably more like a physical therapist or a fitness question. I don't know anything about that there. I know how to do shrugs like this to build your traps. Pete, Mansour got cut when the string went out last week. Sorry about that. Was asking about overrun at the top of the backswing. Confirmed at top that my left arm moves across chest, right elbow moves away, wrist set. Any tips on how to reduce all the overrun? I get into decent positions up until then, square, closed face, overruns messing with my transition downswing. Yes, absolutely. 2 videos I'd watch. Number 1, search my name and why your backswing, 3 reasons why your backswing goes too long, how to fix them. That will go through in detail all of the main 3 and how to fix them in detail. The second video you should watch is the best connection drills, where one's with a torque striker ball. The other one is with an alignment rod. You put an alignment rod underneath your trail or your lead shoulder like this. You have the majority of it sticking out in front of you like this. When you make a backswing, as soon as the stick hits your arm, oops, I got under this, I just did that wrong. It's under your trail arm like this. As soon as you make a backswing and that hit, I'm like, what the hell is that? I hit my arm. As soon as you hit your arm, which for me is about at left arm parallel, boom, right there, you stop your swing. So with momentum, you'll feel it and probably go about here and then start done. So alignment rod under your trail arm, the majority of it out in front of you, 2 best connection drills, and 3 reasons why your backswing is too long, how to fix it. It could be different variables. And also, if normally your backswing is too long and you want to shorten it, it needs to feel so ungodly short that it's like not even believable. When I changed my backswing length, it was long, and I went through the process of this. I literally had to. I went to watch my swing. The guy said, "Hey, feel like you're shortening your swing." I felt like I shortened it. My normal swing was like here. It went to about here, and I felt like it was so short, it was ridiculous. He said, "Okay, make a backswing shoulder high." It went here. He said, "Make a backswing chest high." It went about here, and I said, "All right, that's enough of that. I'm gonna make a backswing." And as soon as I feel like my hands get past my leg, which is just before my hip, I felt like when I got to here, I started swinging down. I watched it on video, and it was like this. So the moral of the story is your backswing needs, whatever you feel like your backswing needs to feel like when it's shorter, multiply that by 10. Your backswing needs to feel like a chip shot for it to shorten. Or the vice versa. If your backswing is too short and you want to lengthen it, it's got to feel so long for it to actually get longer. Backswing length is one, you got to exaggerate everything, but backswing length is like Big time exaggeration. Let's see here. Chris Brown. I think that's the Chris Brown, probably not. For watching your videos, I've cured my slice. Thank you. You are very welcome, Mr. Chris Brown. How do I do divot after the ball? Keep hitting fat shots. How do you take a divot after the ball? A lot of circumstances involved. I say you have to identify the main priorities as to why you're not, if you're hitting behind the ball, you got to move your low point forward. That could be wrist conditions. That could be pressure shift. That could be body tilts. That could be rotation. That could be arms, hands, club face. That could be a lot of things. Yeah, it depends on why you're doing them. Join CogornoGolf.com. Post your swing up. For you guys have questions, I said I need to see them. Pay the fee. Let me give you my feedback. If you don't like it, you can cancel whenever you want. Like, why not try that out? If I can see your swing, I can tell you exactly what you need to do. Any tips for hitting the ball in high winds? Yeah, we always, so taking more club. We did a video on distances, and I always recommend for a full swing iron, you should have a full swing distance, or you should be able to hit it 3 distances. Full swing, like 1 club off, which for me is about shoulder to shoulder, 2 clubs off, which for me is about chest to chest, meaning, let's say my 9 iron, I go 150 yards. My shoulder to shoulder goes 140, my chest to chest goes 130. Now, if you have that system in when you're in winds, then you know how far the ball goes, no big deal. Just take extra club, shorten your swing length, and keep the speed down. When you swing fast and the ball speeds fast and there's a lot of spin, it raises and it balloons. If you keep the speed lower and the spins are lower, the ball will go through the wind better. And take more club. If you're into the wind, find the back edge number. If you're 150 and the back edge is 170, that's your jail there. So you can hit a 170 shot, and then if you're 150, you had 20 behind the pin, you got 20 yards to work with. So I'd choose a 170-yard shot to hit that shot. Also, if it's 150 or 170 in the back, it means you got 130 probably to the front, or 65, 35. So you got margin of error. And if you're downwind, I'd want to know what's the front edge. How far can I kind of play with that? Into the wind, I definitely wouldn't be taking a lot of full swings. And then just, find what works best for you. Let's see. Whenever I play a certain flight for a few rounds, it gets away from me, and I have to switch to the opposite flight to balance things out. Should I play with both flights? No, but I would say, dude, that's very normal, especially for high-end players, to be working one flight and have to work the other to get back to normal. Like literally, see, the issue when we watch pros on TV is we never know what they're thinking or what they're doing. We just watch them play, and we assume that they're just like doing the same thing all the time. It couldn't be farther from the truth. Same way, if I walk down to the range, or you walk down to the range, or someone walked down the range, saw you swing, and they didn't know what you were thinking, you could be feeling like you're doing the weirdest, most exaggerated movement, and they'd be walking by, see your swing, and be like, oh, that looks normal. It doesn't even look like he's doing anything different. The reality is the pros are constantly doing stuff like that. I think that's perfectly fine. I wouldn't worry about that as being a problem. In fact, I think the skill of being able to find both ways is good, increase the odds of good performance. Anthony, having problems transferring my weight to the right side, left-handed golfer. Best advice to get there effectively. Yeah, I don't think any huge tips for that. I think, what's holding you back from getting to the right side? What happens when you try so freaking hard, exaggerated, to get to your right side, like that you have no other choice? What happens when you take a sand wedge or 7-iron, you make a backswing halfway back, and before your arms and hands come down, you feel like you press so hard into your left or your right side as you're turning, and what does that look like on camera? Okay, I'm still not doing it. Well, then you're not exaggerating it enough. You're going too fast, or there's a reason earlier on that's causing it. I'd have to know what those are, but that's when I struggle with, if I was standing next to you and I just said, go more right, go earlier, swing slower, and exaggerate it more, I got a hard time thinking, unless there's a physical reasoning, that you wouldn't be able to do that. So, Anthony, I'd have to see if there's something else going on in your swing that would cause you to not be able to do that. So, if I said to you, how would you get your pressure more towards your right side sooner, harder, what would you say? You'd probably say the same thing I said, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you don't need a drill or anything for that. Jared, the Facebook group is awesome. Beautiful, Jared. It's like a support group for golfers looking to get better. Eric's like having our own golf psychiatrist. Beautiful. Best value you can get if you want to play better. I appreciate that, Jared. I'm glad to have someone in here too, so it's not just me spewing, you guys should do this, you guys should do this. I do genuinely think it's the best thing for all of you guys to get better. I think there's a hole right now in terms of the instruction online where there's other sites and stuff, and I'm not one of the only one, but where someone actually sees your swing and can actually guide you and has actually done videos to cover all the topics. That's kind of what I think our unique little thing is there, is you have to, and the whole group, you can see everyone else's swing. I think you have to be able to see your swing. Like whoever's helping you needs to see your swing to guide you in the right direction. That's what I think are unique things. And as Mary says, you can see my input and everyone else's input to each other. I think it's really good. And I do it now, quite honestly, before it gets bigger, but that's another thing. Joey, my 9-year-old has started to get into golf. When he takes the club back, his entire head turns back and he can't see the ball. Any simple thing I can tell him to keep him from moving his head so much? Yeah, you know, I don't know at 9 that I'd be like so overly concerned about swing length, but I see if he's not looking at the ball, yeah, maybe you make some swings where you hold his head in place, let him turn big, and say, hey, like let's make a swing where you can actually see it. You can use some tricks in terms of closing a certain eye. You could shorten his swing length, but I don't know that I'd go that route. I'd just maybe take some swing. Hey, if I held your head here and you made a big turn and you were able to still see the ball, what does that feel like to you? Let's say your son's name's Joey too. Yeah, what's that feel like to you? Okay, Dad, it feels like I'm doing this more. Okay, good. Let's start with that. I think at 9, I wouldn't get overly mechanical and wouldn't worry about it too much. Just maybe see what it feels like when his head stays down. Should I, other than that, like any sort of tips I do or videos I do in terms of shortening length or staying center and stuff like that mechanically would apply, but I think I'd keep it simple with him. Should I still get fit for clubs if I'm in the middle of changing, improving my swing, or should I wait until I get my swing dialed in? I would wait until you're done doing major stuff, but usually the fitting isn't going to be so drastically different either way. Maybe lie angle and some other things might be a difference, but in terms of shafts and club heads, from my, I'm not a club fitting expert, but from my experience, it wouldn't change all that much. You can always get lie angle changed later on, but maybe wait till you're done with the main stuff and then I'd get it done. I think club fitting can definitely help a lot. How can I tell if a shaft is too stiff or too flexible? You need to get it fit by someone who knows what they're doing. I can't give you a ball flight answer to that because it depends on their variables. Because not just shaft. It's the flexibility of the shaft, it's the torque of the shaft, it's the weight, it's the club head, it's the loft, it's the lie. So I can't just say like if it goes right, it's too flexible or too stiff. If it goes left, it's too flexible. If it floats, it's this. There's too many variables there. Hi, setup, is the left arm locked straight or is it relaxed or somewhere in between? Where does the pit of the elbow point? Definitely, I would not prefer the arm to be straight. I'd rather there be some bend. And then your left arm, from here, there's forearm rotation, and then there's shoulder rotation. I'd say most people have the elbow in a pretty neutral position back behind you. Some players, like a more Hogan in times, have the arm more elbow right more in front like this and go back, and that's cool. I don't like it where it's overly out this way. So kind of in an internal rotation position. I'd rather it be slightly more palm up, external, but then forearm rotate the grip. Like I'd rather that, so I really feel the pressure of my left arm on my pec when I go back. But that's not for, that's not for everyone. But yeah, that would be my stock answer to that. Somewhere in between the two, definitely not locked straight. Let's see. I have a left wrist limitation that requires me to have a neutral or weak left hand grip. My right hand's neutral. Can I overcome this by working towards consistency? Yeah, thank you. Thanks, man. You definitely can. If your grip is weaker, you need to have your left wrist or lead wrist flat or bowed. You then can't get away with too much cup because then your face is going to be too open. So you have to have good wrist conditions, hanger drills, things like that would be good for you. And you probably want to throw in more lead arm supination during the downswing. If you guys, a lot of you guys that are so scared of this arm rotation, but if you learn how to supinate well, arm rotation, and then learn how to rotate on it. Arm rotation turns into lead wrist flexion really easily. One of the guys I work with, Paul, really teaches a lot of arm rotation, has forever. And like every single swing of his, when you slow-mo it, their lead wrists at impact are freaking money. Why? Because they learn how to supinate first, learn how to supinate, he teaches them how to close the face down, and then you rotate second, and then the lead wrist is great. So lead wrist flexion, trail wrist extension, supination. And for goodness sake, you guys, stop. Don't be afraid of arm rotation. Don't be afraid of arm rotation. Rotate your arms a lot. Learn how to pivot to match that. The face will be, the dynamic loft will be lower. The face will be much more square to the path, especially if you're hitting the ball to the right. Okay, Jeff, for a long-term slider, what is the best practice to really exaggerate and feel pure rotation no slide? Lots of different things. If you search, we have a rotation masterclass that goes through that. We have a bunch of videos in here. If you search my name in hip rotation, search my name in slide, search my name in left leg, search my name in right leg, hips, any of that. We'll go through a lot of different feels. Now, it depends on if there's a reason why you slide. You could be steep, and then you slide to shallow it. You could slide to square club face. There could be reasons why you do it. But from the top, instead of feeling as far forward, obviously you're going to feel like there's no shift at all. You would need to feel like your lead leg definitely goes around more. You need to feel like your left hip goes down and back from the top, you can feel like your right hip stays higher as your left hip goes. I mean, you got to basically feel the opposites of what you're currently doing, but any form of left leg going external, pressure towards the heel, no rotation, left hip down and back, right hip high and forward, left leg flex. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. If you watch those, you'll see them. We also have that early extension masterclass coming next Monday, which goes through a lot of the pressure in the feet and the leg work that'll kind of goes through with this. An early extension leg pattern is very similar to someone who slides. A lot of times they go together. So next Monday, that's going to launch again. For those who weren't here earlier, next Monday, we'll have our early extension masterclass that's launching that. We'll go through that. We're going to have an introductory price for 1 week that Saturday it's going to go up. It goes through everything with that. So you might want to check that, Jeff. Yeah, and so I would check that one out. I'm telling you, it goes through all those leg feels. And Mary said that all the times we do master classes, if you're a member of CogornoGolf.com, you get those master classes for free. You get access to all of the master classes we've ever done for free for $39 a month. So that's something else to keep in mind. Oh, someone's posting questions down here. Hey-o. Hang on, guys. Okay, John. Why does that keep going down? John, trying to work on firing the hip first with the thought of moving my belt buckle in my mind. Is that a good idea? Yes, it is. If when you record it, you actually do what you want to do. Anytime we're talking about feels, are they good, John, or anyone, are they good, are they not good, should I do this or should I not? I really don't care what you feel. What I care is when you record it, are you actually doing the movement? I give you guys things to feel that I have in my experience either work for myself or with players I've used over and over and over. But the reality is the feel is secondary to are you actually doing the movement. But hip rotation, belt buckle towards target is one way to definitely feel that. Jason, hi, Eric. In the downswing, when the club gets back to parallel, my right knee has shifted towards the ball a lot, and I'm up on my right toe. Maybe feel cramped. What should I focus on? You'd have to see your swing, Jason, to say whether you should do anything about that or not. It sounds like when you have kind of an early extension leg pattern, right knee goes up or right heel comes up, knee goes in, hip goes in, chest goes back and cramp. I would say the same thing to you. That early extension masterclass, I'm telling you guys, goes through a lot of these problems. All you guys that don't rotate enough, that have early extension, that want to pivot better, that want to have more shaft lean, it goes over all of it. It's early extension, but it fixes all that stuff. So Jason, I would look at that. We also have a drill, how to fix your footwork, where I go over 3 drills to do that with your trail foot. If you search my name in footwork, you'll see a video of like a club under my trail foot. That's one. If you search footwork on here and some leg work stuff, it'll kind of go over how to do that. Early extension videos on here will help, and that masterclass will help. So probably you want to feel some version of your right foot staying down, your right foot banking, your knee going more towards your left knee, not towards the ball, straightening your right leg later in the downswing. You'd have to see your swing, but some form of that. Samuel, how to match the forearm rotation going back and re-rotation coming down. I feel mine are out of sync, causing hooks and pull hooks. Yeah, how do you rotate them depends on too many other variables. Depends on your grip. If you have a strong or a weak grip, it depends on your body rotation amount. So yeah, so I think you're saying maybe you have too much on the way down, maybe, if you're hitting hooks and pull hooks. So how much rotation you have on the way down may or may not be at all relative to how much you have going back. So you might have more. So it sounds like maybe you need to figure out either have less rotation in the face during the downswing or get your body to work to match it. If you wanted to have less arm rotation, you would feel less arm rotation. The opposite of arm rotation would be some form of hold off, like a drive hold release. I'd put a start line stick in front of you. If you wanted to get rid of the pulls and pull hooks, take the hook off the ball, learn how to get the face not as close to the path, maybe a little more drive hold, get the ball started online, make sure you have enough body rotation, things like that. I have to see your swing though. I feel the club release when backswing is better when it's flatter, but my misses are a hook, then more upright. How can I get upright without slicing? I feel the club release is better when backswing is better when it's flatter, but my misses are a hook, then more upright. How can I get more upright without slicing? Yeah, again, with this one, I mean, like, I don't know that I can answer that without seeing you actually do it. 1, are you actually flat and upright, or is it just a feel? 2, what other things go along with that? What's your ball position? What's your grip? Where's your pressure in your feet? What are your wrist conditions? What's your swing direction? Are you rotating well? What are your side bends like? What kind of target do you have? I mean, there's so many variables in there for me to give a stock answer. That's why I'm telling you guys, like, I need to see your swings. 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 Because I need to see them. If I could figure out a way to do all this without seeing your swings, I would do that, but I don't think it's possible. So I need to see your swings to be able to help that. So the answer is, I don't know the answer to that question, man. There's too many variables for me to say that. Jeff, what's your opinion on the Costco brand golf ball? I don't know enough about it to say. Don't know enough about it to say, man. I would say premium golf balls are premium for a reason. Usually you get what you pay for. Jim, hated playing right, so I switched to left. I still suck. Bowling, baby, bowling. Sammy, hi, Eric. What's going on? What do you think about having the feel of using your upper body only in the backswing and downswing and allowing the arms to come along for the ride, dog wagging the tail rather? Again, feels to me are less relevant than what you actually do. You can feel whatever you want if you actually make the motion. If you felt that and it made a terrible motion, then I hate it. If you felt that and everything else lined up and you hit it great, then I love it. But it all depends on what you're actually doing. Kevin, I have a high elbow on backswing. Can this cause me to get across the line? Yes, absolutely. So high elbow meaning internal, external. If my shoulders are more internal or flying right elbow, it's going to make me want to be more across the line. If I get my shoulder back in or an external, it makes it go more down the line. So in general, if I had the same forearm rotation and wrist conditions and all that changed was my arm, if I go internal, it goes more across the line. If I go external, it goes more down the line, no doubt. Now I can be like this and still have different wrist conditions and change it. So I can do that. I also can be here and have different forearm rotation. So I can be up with my arm and change my forearm rotation, wrist conditions, and be perfect. So, but yes, if I'm more internal, wants to go more across the line, more external will go less across the line. If you search my name in internal, external shoulder, I kind of talk through that a little bit more. And right arm in the backswing, left arm in the backswing, backswing. Doug, hitting the driver relatively straight all spring, suddenly started to push significantly to the right. What has suddenly gone wrong? If there's no curve, if it's just a straight push, then that sounds like a path issue. Swinging too far from inside or too far to the right. That could just be aim. That could just be ball position. That could be swing direction. Don't know if you've heard me say it before, but I'd have to see your swing to say for sure. But it sounds like a path thing. Without seeing your swing, maybe I'd put a stick in front and at least you have an eye line, learn how to hit it left of it. Make sure the ball's not too far back. Make sure you're not aimed to the right. Make sure your path's not too far inside out. Now, if the ball's going right and curving, or if it's curving to the right, that's a different conversation. There's other variables involved. Brandon, what kills me is early extension. Great news, dude. Monday, early extension masterclass. It's definitely the best masterclass, early extension product ever out, ever. I'm going to say that. It's good. When we watched it, like literally was impressed by it. I think it's awesome. Sometimes I get in the zone. We're doing those videos and I don't even really remember like what we did. Yeah, Mary said that's great too. It's really, really good. I'm telling you guys, if you have early extension, that it's freaking good. Is the backswing more of a placement of the club up to the top, or are you swinging the club up to? Is the backswing more of a placement of the club up to the top, or you swing the club up to the top? Not sure what you mean there. I would say so. Like it's a lot of things, right? Like you're definitely swinging your arms and hands up. You're definitely moving your body up. I don't know that you're I don't know you need to like get it here and then go. I think you're more or less making a swing motion and it's kind of a byproduct. I think the top of your swing is usually a byproduct of motion, not really trying to get there. But if you're trying to change your backswing, then you need to be more conscious of where it goes. Simon, love your channel. Best way to take your range game to the course. Number one is watch, search my name and watch Perfect Practice Routine. Walks you through a 100-ball set. And the key part is that last quarter of your practice being range-like. So you switch targets, switch club or distance on every shot with a routine. That's part of it. You got to make your range time as similar to the course as possible. Number two, there's nothing like being in the fire. If I want to speak in front of 10,000 people, the best way to do that is to speak in front of 10,000 people. You have to do it as much as possible, meaning have less time on the range, have more time on the course. Like limit your range time. Some people come into me and they say, Eric, how do I take my range time to the course? I say, well, how often do you go to the range? They say 5 days a week. I say, how often do you go to the course? They say 1 day a week. Well, I say, well, that doesn't even make sense then. If you're on the range 5 days and you're on the course 1, what are we talking about? You should be good at those things you do 5 days a week and not as good at the thing you do 1 day a week. So you should go more like on the course 3 days, on the range twice, and then that's a different ballgame. If you go to the range a lot more in the course, you're going to be a lot better on the range than the course. Juan, should left knee go forward? A lot of Mary deleting. Should the left knee go forward or away from the target on the backswing? The left knee, depending upon some variables, I would prefer. So the left knee is going to increase its bend. It's going to start with the kneecaps somewhere over the middle or balls of the feet. The left knee is going to bend, so it's going to go forward, but it's also going to typically, I prefer it to go internal. So the left knee is going to go forward here, and it's going to go in this way. How much you go in or forward, there's different patterns and stuff like that, but that would be a stock thing. Okay, 40 seconds, quick, rapid fire. Okay. Dave, what's up, buddy? You're in the clubhouse after a round. What do you get to eat? Probably for me, like a burger. I'm a burger guy, so I'll probably get a burger and a beer. Chuck, when playing off the turf, I hit my iron straight, but off the tee, I'm pulling my irons. Yeah, Chuck, that's an interesting one. I have to see that one to say, wow, a lot of deleting. I have to see that one to say for sure. Could be when the ball's up in the air on the tee, you don't hit down as much. Your angle of attack's not down, so your path's not as far right. The more you hit down on the ball, the more it kicks your path right. So that could be it. So maybe tee it lower or even just play it off the ground. Or you could just shift your swing direction more right. Yeah, burger and a beer probably. Super feeling like shit right afterwards. But that's probably what I'm getting. Wayne, Eric, like to get out a PA for a lesson. Beautiful, come on up. We'll be taking students again soon. Looks like you're booked up. Yeah, dude. I think we're booked till like maybe the end of August. But at that point, if you would like to come up, then I would love to have you. Yeah, I mean, obviously the online stuff, like that's, I mean, the CogornoGolf.com, it's probably going to be more of that moving forward. I'm not going to have as much time in person, but I'm on Cogorno Golf every day. So I don't know whoever's else on it, they could attest that. I mean, I'm on there every day answering. So that's probably the easiest way to find me. But if you want to come later in the fall, it'd be awesome. It's probably the best I can do right now. Or Florida this winter. Nate, how much do you make from your channel monthly? Like $1 million a month. I think that's one $1 million. About $1 million bucks. So things are good. Guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Always have fun doing this. Hour always flies by. We will be here next Monday. Knock on wood, the connection was good. Again, check out CogornoGolf.com. If I ask you to post your swing up, at least try. You can always cancel. I do want to help you guys. I need to see your swing. Need to see your swing to get better. That's the easiest way to do it. Check out Monday. That masterclass is going to drop. We're going to blitz videos next week, every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Awesome. Yeah, Mary's going to be editing like crazy. Awesome videos. The masterclass is freaking awesome. I think it's the best one we've ever done by far. Might be the best golf product ever made, so no big deal. But we'll see you guys next Monday. Hope everyone had a good day and enjoyed it. And thank you, guys.